you're staying with us right here on The Exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. The devastation from Typhoon Yolanda in 2013 led a French-Italian and Filipino-Chinese couple to find their calling. Help farmers recover and make sure they won't suffer the same fate again. Let's now have an exchange with Patrick Renucci and Rachel Renucci-Tan on how their state-of-the-art rice processing center helps transform the lives of farmers in Leyte. Thank you so much to you both for joining us. Rachel, let's start off with you. You and your husband uprooted yourselves from your Paris home and relocated to the Philippines. What motivated you to invest in agriculture?
Yes, sure. So at the time, actually, I was living in Hong Kong running a real estate fund. We had restructured a $1 billion real estate fund investing in China. And we were also managing another $200 million fund, a Chinese fund. My husband was one of the largest printers in Paris. And together we decided that we needed to add more meaning into our lives because we weren't getting any younger. That was the time that Typhoon Yolanda had struck the Philippines. And so I decided in 2014 to make my way back home to just check it out and to understand how we could help. This led to a feasibility study on the rice industry because I noticed that Leyte had so many rice fields. It's actually one of the most productive palay producing areas of the country. But there were no post-harvest facilities. Whatever little post-harvest facilities there were devastated and ravaged by Yolanda, by the typhoon.
You have been very successful at that, Rachel. So Patrick, share with us, what was we do to make the country less dependent on rice importation when decades ago we were exporters of rice?
Yes. Rico, okay, I will try to answer this question, but the question is very complex. Because the government now is really helping a lot the farmer, introducing mechanization, massively providing mechanization to the farmer, providing seeds, providing fertilizer. There is free water for all the farmers in the Philippines. So the government is already helping a lot. So they're already starting the process of changing the rice industry in the Philippines. But obviously, we can see it's not enough because the government is trying to help and spending a huge amount of money with the RTLO and the RCEF program, with TESDA, also ATI. But we don't see the change or the improvement fast enough. So we have to go deeper inside the rice crisis and our rice crisis with our farmer. Today, the government is doing the job, spending, helping, but we need to understand why there is not the positive impact expected. So if we look a little bit deeper, we also have to take a look at the agrarian reform law. Because most of our farmers in the Philippines, are not landowners, are not tenants, they are only caretakers. And that's, I believe, it's one of the major problems. A caretaker, unfortunately, cannot, they don't have any security. That means they can be removed from the farm anytime by the landowner.
All right. So, Rachel, you and your husband have been very effective in bringing your local rice to market. And you've said that it is the rice of the Filipinos. What has made your farm-to-market business model successful?
Yes. So most important for any rice producer is to control as much of the value chain as is possible and integrate it. So we start with the farmers. We've, in fact, already established a school. We have over 1,000 students, and they're the children of farmers, and we teach them high-tech farming. This allows us to control the quality of the palay that we eventually buy from them. We've also had our Renucci partnership where we've trained, again, it's more training of the farmers to produce high quality palay. And since we're the biggest buyer of palay in the region, we're able to control the supply in the area. And then we do all the processing, rice processing ourselves in our own facilities. We're very careful with classifying the palay into good, medium, and bad, and therefore reserving the good only for our premium rice and the not so good for a lower category of rice. And then we control the distribution of our rice all the way to customers in Manila. So because of the pandemic, we've had to pivot to e-commerce. And right now we can proudly say we are the largest seller of rice on e-commerce, on social media, on the internet. We're selling sometimes 6 tons per day of rice.
That's excellent.
And then we also...
Yeah. And Patrick,
Yes.
though, can this rice model be replicated so we can increase rice harvests?
Yes, yes. And that's what we hope, that everybody is going to replicate our model and to try to be more sustainable. Because the concern of agri and rice, it's the concern of all the Filipinos. So we should work all together. And of course, technology and capital, it's very important, but it's not enough. We have to understand also one of the major problems here in the Philippines, it's the middlemen. So, of course, we need technology, we need capital, but we need also to regulate the shark loan, as we call it. And this will be a big change for the farmers.
And Rachel, the rice
Yes.
tarification law is being discussed right now during
Correct.
this ongoing campaign. In your view,
Yes.
is it a friend or an enemy to farmers?
Well, let's see why it was established in the first place. It was established to assist in our food security efforts because there's not enough local rice. It's claimed that we cannot plant enough local rice. Second goal of RTL is to enable farmers to compete with foreign farmers because they said if we bring in imported rice that's cheaper, the farmers will be forced to become more efficient and bring down their costs and increase their yields. Okay, that was the goal. Has government been successful? I am sad to report that they haven't, because we live this and we see that the farmers have not reduced their cost of production. The national yield has not budged much. And we see that the cost of palay is amongst the highest in the whole of Asia. It's still at 17, 18 pesos per kilo, when in Vietnam it's at 7 pesos per kilo. The cost of production must not be far from the price of palay. So has it helped the farmers get out of poverty by making them more as competitive as their Vietnamese counterparts? No, it hasn't. And the farmers continue to be baon sa utang, the debt cycle, poor, and definitely unable to compete with their Southeast Asian neighbors.
Thank you
Yes,
so much
that's,
for this agribusiness exchange, Patrick Renucci and Rachel Renucci-Tan. And this is the exchange who makes sense of the facts and the figures and the ups and downs of the business cycle, because your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. Thanks for watching CNN Philippines. News you can use, news you can trust.